Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Time Out with Steven Scott, presented by Baldman Entertainment.
Buckle the fuck up.
It's time to play the game.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Time to play the game.
You can't let that shit happen.
You play to win the game.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit!
Cannot win with him. Can't do it.
Time to play the game.
Welcome to Sports on Tap Game Day for Week 15 of the NFL season. I am Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell. How you doing?
It's a morning.
It's a morning.
That's
true.
It's a morning.
It's
I'm not going to say good morning. It's a morning.
It's a morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today is a good day.
Yeah.
This is my last day of work until after the first of the year.
That's awesome, man.
So I'm going in today to button a few things up, and
Right.
And while I'm there, I'll watch some football.
Of course.
And then it's my last day until the 3rd of January. So I'm happy about today. It's a little bit of a rough morning. My body did not want to roll out of bed.
I can certainly understand that. Mine didn't either. I could certainly understand that. So
It is what it is, though. We're rolling for the day, and we're ready to get in some football.
yes, we are. Especially because this week, like a lot of fantasy playoffs are starting this week,
Yes.
which I did not make, unfortunately. But I didn't finish in last in our league, and I'm happy about that.
So you don't have to have the turkey.
I don't have
the
to
turkey
have,
with the ball sack.
I do not have to have the turkey with the ball sack probably displayed in my house.
Although there is a consolation bracket, which I think starts next week, so you have to enter a lineup.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we might want to check that right now,
Yeah.
so that you don't miss this week. I believe it starts next week.
Yeah, it said I had bye this week,
Okay.
so I think we're good.
So yeah, you should be good then. But I believe there is a consolation bracket for the teams that didn't make the playoffs. So you have to enter a lineup for there, because if not, you could possibly get knocked down to last
Oh, yeah.
if you don't win those games. So you need to make sure that you enter your lineup for those.
It sucks. I think I got a 3-game lead on the guy who's in last right now. Like,
Well, and once the playoffs start, all records go out the window. So if you
Oh,
end
is that
up,
how
so,
it is?
so if you end up losing out,
yeah, I do finish in last.
you would finish in last.
I don't know.
I believe
I don't
so.
necessarily know if I like that, but whatever.
But just enter a lineup. I think you should be all right.
Yeah.
I did make the playoffs in that league. Made the playoffs in 2 leagues, and then my 1 league where we don't have playoffs at all, in second place right now, and we just play out completely.
Right.
And then week 12 week 6, week 12, and week 18 are position weeks.
Right.
So our playoffs are kind of throughout 3 weeks throughout the season.
I actually kind of
In
like
a way.
that.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, I kinda like
It's
that.
kind of fun. And then whoever has the best record at the end wins.
Right.
And if there's a tie, it bounces to most points scored.
Right.
So I'm in second there. I'm in 2 playoffs, and unfortunately, in both the ones where I made the playoffs, I had Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor got knocked out after 1 fucking catch yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So my playoff chances are not looking very good in both of those leagues, because my number 1 or number 2 running back got like 2 points.
Is that where it all went wrong for the Colts? Was Jonathan Taylor got knocked out?
No, because it was still going right for them. Now, if they'd have had him,
Yeah.
honestly, I believe if he doesn't get knocked out of that game, they still win that game.
I agree with you on that. I think they do win that
Because one of the reasons why Minnesota was able to come back was a key fumble by Deion Jackson.
game. Yeah.
And if Jonathan Taylor's in there, I don't believe he fumbles that. I believe they lean on him a little more than they leaned on their running backs, who they did have in the game, which was Zach Moss and Deion Jackson.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think if he's in that game, it's a totally different story.
I would agree with that. Still doesn't take away from the fact that that's embarrassing. As an NFL team, that's embarrassing.
Oh, it's completely embarrassing.
That's absolutely embarrassing. That should never happen.
And for Kirk Cousins, this is the second time he's come back from a huge lead.
Right.
The second biggest lead that's ever been given up in recent years was the "you like that" game.
Oh, was it really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was a 24-point lead
All
that
right.
he came back. Excuse me. In Washington.
You gonna make it? You all right?
Yeah, and I have nothing down here to drink either.
I guess I got water right here.
Unbelievable. You got water?
Yeah.
Thank you. Told you, it's a rough morning.
Yeah, you ain't kidding about that. Yeah, that's to me that's just incredibly embarrassing for an NFL team to give up a lead like that. And the fact that Matt Ryan now has been involved in the 2 biggest comebacks in NFL history is hysterical to me.
He's blown. You need this back.
No, that's fine. Okay.
He has blown the biggest lead in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In NFL history, and now he's blown the biggest lead in NFL history. Period.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. Like, how does that? Like, I think that because I ultimately think he will get into the Hall of Fame.
I do too. He was good enough, and
Yeah.
his career numbers are. I believe he will end up making it in.
I think that should go on his bust in Canton. I really do.
I mean, at this point, steer into it.
Yeah, own it, man. You should talk about that at your Hall of Fame speech too. And yeah, you can put a lot of blame on Indianapolis defense, and rightfully so.
Oh
But
yeah.
you also have
yeah.
to put it on the offense as well. Like, you guys you played conservative. You played not to lose, which you were up 33 fucking points.
Well, like you said, it's the prevent and win defense.
Prevent and win defense, man.
And I kind of looked at it as I said, Matt Ryan is a prevent and win
You did.
because this dude just cannot not blow big leads.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
bad. It was bad. And speaking of the Vikings, I still think they're fucking frauds. 100%, I think they're frauds.
I think their defense is what's suspect.
They're
You have to give them credit because listen, any team that can come back from that big of a lead, no matter who they're playing against, they're not a horrible team. I mean, that's a huge lead to be able to come back from. Nobody's ever done that.
right.
That's insane to be able to come back from that. But you look at their game; they have flaws, and you've been on them all year by having those flaws and wondering how they even have the fucking record they have. And with me, I kept saying, well, they're consistent. I mean, that's all they are is consistent. They're not great in any one aspect. They're just consistent. Well, in seeing some of their games recently, they're consistent, and their defense is consistently bad, which is what's going to end up hindering them in the long run. I mean, they clinched the playoff spot, but
Yeah. They clinched the division, right?
they did clinch division. Even though yesterday there were still Lions fans before that game talking about how they could still win the division.
We'll get into them shortly.
But yeah, so this was one of those games where you go, all right, well, they have flaws, and the thing is that they also have the ability to beat you no matter who you are. I mean, they beat Buffalo.
They did.
They came back from the largest. They just had the largest comeback in history. I mean,
They had a lot of things go right against Buffalo.
they did, but again,
They had a lot of things go right against Indianapolis.
they had a in the goal against Indianapolis in the
I
first
know.
half.
Right.
Like, a blocked punt for a touchdown? I mean, just there was a lot of things going wrong for them. Dalvin Cook, 40-yard run, then the next play he fumbles, which isn't his MO.
Not.
At the NFL and in football, there's a lot of things that can go right and go wrong. And do you have to get lucky sometimes? Yeah, but you also have to put yourself in a position to take those opportunities
Right.
that you can look at as luck and go, all right, well, you were in the right position. You were in the position to make a play. So I mean, not everything comes down to everything went their way or everything went against whoever it was.
Right.
You have to be good enough to put yourself in those positions. And have they had some luck along the way? Oh yeah, they've had some luck along the way. But again, it's the NFL.
No.
They are what are they? 11 and
I think 12-3.
12 and no,
They're
they're
11-3.
11 10 and 3, 10 and 3.
10-3.
No.
I mean, it's-
11 and 3. Sorry, 11 and 3.
I mean, I look at it though. It's just, I don't believe that is the team that is indicative of an 11-3 record. You know how they'll term you are what your record says you are. I don't buy into that. I don't.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's true though.
Yeah.
mean,
are you technically 11-3? Yes. It was like that Steelers team a couple years ago. Like, we looked at that team and they were 11-0,
Yeah.
and we were like, that team's a fucking fraud. And it turned out that team was an absolute fraud.
And when it comes down to it, there's some luck that plays in part there too, because your schedule is based off how you played the year before a lot of the times.
It
Now
is.
you
Yeah.
play your division, but you also play other teams based on where you finished last year. And you could say the same thing. the Lions are 6-7 right now.
Yes.
If they went out and make the playoffs, do you discount some of those because the teams they're playing towards the end of the season are not very good teams? I mean, in the end, if they went out and they make the playoffs, they're going to be a 10-7 team making the playoffs.
Right.
So, do I like giving the Lions credit? No, fuck no. But at that point in time, you have to because they played who was on their schedule. They won the games they needed to win, and with the Lions, you look at it. If they don't have that, 1-6 start, bro,
They're probably in.
like that was a horrible start to a season.
It was.
And if a couple of those games go in a different direction because of bad coaching decisions that weren't made, we were looking at them as having a way better record than they have right now. And would they be indicative of their record? Maybe not, but they would be what their record says they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
You can always, in the NFL especially, we talked about it this year on Tuesday, and we said it before, this year especially, any given Sunday, man. And no matter what, they're all NFL players out there. And if you put yourself in a position to make plays, if the team puts themselves in a position to make plays, bad luck can turn into good luck really quickly. And it's a matter of, just how the ball bounces and if you're in the right position. It's crazy, man. It really is. The NFL football season is nuts, bro.
especially this year. Like, this has been the definition of any given Sunday this year.
Absolutely.
Anyways, let's jump into the slate that's left. We had some good games yesterday. Obviously, we just talked at length about the Minnesota-Indianapolis game.
Yeah.
The Baltimore-Cleveland game was a bit of a snooze fest. We call it a real burn barner.
That's a real burn barner. It was a track meet.
A track
for sure.
meet. I said, yeah, track meet in the Special Olympics.
Yeah,
probably, but
it was a track meet for sure. No,
yeah, it was not the greatest of games, and your kicker fucking sucks.
And they drafted him in the fucking fifth round.
Your kicker is terrible.
Jesus. Well, you look at yesterday. Even Justin Tucker missed 2.
He did. That's
like what the hell was going on yesterday? Tucker's automatic.
When Tucker's missing field goals, something's going on, man. And then the nightcap, the Bills and Dolphins game, that was actually a very entertaining game. But the Bills, they have some things to work on before the playoffs start. I mean, they can't run the ball besides Josh Allen, and that's when your quarterback is your best rusher. That's a problem. That's a big issue. Unless you're like circa 2004 Michael Vick, that's a problem.
Right.
They can't stop the run because Miami's running backs had a really good day yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And
Mostert had 136 yards on 17 carries.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 100 yards in the first half.
Yep. And this team gives up big plays, especially on long yardage situations. They give up big plays at an alarming rate. And that's not how you win the playoffs. And we saw it happen to them last year against the Chiefs.
Yeah, they were getting gashed in the run game, which was, I mean, Miami isn't necessarily a good run team. They haven't been, and they were gashing them in the run game. I think if they continued that run game in the second half as they did in the first, I think they might have been able to pull that game off. They kind of abandoned the run at one point,
yeah,
and I didn't understand why, because the game actually got worse weather condition wise in the second half, and they went away from the run more than they did in the first half.
I think that goes to coaches panic with the clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just
like they figure if you keep running it, the clock's just going to keep running and running. Well, if it's successful, you're going to score.
And if it's successful, you're running the clock
Right.
out to help yourself because you were in that game and you were leading at one
Right.
point. Your run game was working. Why abandon it? And of course, that goes for Cleveland as well.
Right.
If Nick Chubb doesn't get out of Cleveland when he has the
needs to go,
opportunity,
man.
like just because you have Deshaun Watson, they are changing their complete identity.
Oh yeah.
The head coach is changing their identity to a pass first team, and to me, that's just stupid. I just don't understand the thought process there.
Like I said, Nick, come to Buffalo. We'd love to have you, buddy. Anyways, let's get into the NFL slate. The rest of it for this week. First off, we're starting with Pittsburgh taking on Carolina. 58% of the money is on Pittsburgh getting 2.5. 57% of the money is on the under at 37.5, and 61% of the money is on Pittsburgh plus 127.
Okay, so the value index tool, let's see, has Pittsburgh. Where are we at here? And I can't find it on the sheet here.
Oh, boy.
Where the hell is it? Yeah, okay. Value Index tool has Carolina barely being the team to take here.
Yeah.
What did you say the spread was?
Pittsburgh's getting 2.5.
Okay, so they had this at 3 point. Pittsburgh getting 3 points. So Carolina will be a little bit more favored in taking them in the Value Index tool here. No Kenny Pickett.
They're going back to Uncle Mitch?
They're going back to Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Carolina has been playing better than they should.
They had a good win last week against Seattle.
They're a team that should be playing as well as they are right now. They fired their head coach. They traded Christian McCaffrey, and yet they're actually playing well as a team right
they're
now.
Kind of in a playoff hunt a little bit.
They are
because the division is so bad.
They're very much in the playoff hunt. As far as they need to win games, but they are, and so I think Carolina is the smart play here at home. And the Value Index tool is telling you to do that.
I would agree with that. I do like Carolina in this matchup, especially because they're literally playing for something,
Right.
which I think
Right.
Pittsburgh's kind of out of it. So, yeah, I like Carolina in this. Do you like anything fantasy wise in this?
Yeah. So not necessarily a lot, but I think Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard are two that you can. If you have to play them at running back, you can rely on some points from them. They both did pretty well last week. Hubbard a little bit more because he had the touchdown.
Yeah.
They're both being played in that backfield. And actually, Blackshear saw a little bit of time mixed in as well. He had 4 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown. Stole a touchdown from one of the other two that could have had it. But I don't mind either one of them in this game. I don't think anything else truly stands out in this game as far as fantasy goes. If you have to play a couple of these guys, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does.
You could do worse than like Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. I think Pickens I like a little bit more. Najee Harris, if you have him, I think you kind of have to use him, but you're not necessarily excited about it. I don't see this game jumping off the board fantasy wise in any aspect really.
No, I'm in agreement with you on there. Next up, we got the Eagles taking on the Bears. 52% of the money is on Philadelphia laying 8.5. 81% of the money is on the over at 48.5, and 96% of the money is on Philadelphia money line at -400.
Yeah, this one's a battle of two exciting quarterbacks, really.
Yep.
Honestly, is what it is. And the Value Index tool has Philly being the favorite to win this game here as far as betting goes. They are a 7.1 Value Index rated team here.
So they're pretty confident in this.
Yeah, it's telling you to take Philly in this one.
Yeah.
It has Philly. They have Philly winning 35-19. So they have them winning by quite a bit in this game.
I could see that. I mean, I think the Bears are just their defense is horrendous. The Philly's offense is cooking right now. Yeah, I could see Philadelphia covering that 8.5.
So a couple stats behind this. Jalen Hurts has been really good against the spread at home. He's 11-4-1, but he struggles on the road, 6-11 against the spread on the road. The Bears are 2-4 against the spread at home this season. Chicago's hit the over in 8 of their last 9 games. If that tells you
Really?
anything. Yep.
That's where all the money is on the over at 48.5. So that kind of makes sense.
And with both these teams can score. Chicago's defense is not very good. They trade away quite a few big pieces.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that betting the over in this one is indicative of Philly being able to score as quite a bit, and then Chicago being able to kind of come back and even in a little garbage time possibly get some points on the board and send this into an over for sure.
Right. The fantasy wise, I mean, obviously, you're starting Hurts, you're starting Fields. I can see Fields having a decent day, especially in garbage time.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get you a lot of garbage time points.
I like both quarterbacks in this game today. I have Jalen Hurts as my second-rated quarterback on the week, and I have Fields rated as my 6th best quarterback on the week. So they're both pretty high. Fields is facing a very difficult test in the Philly defense, but he's athletically elite.
Yes,
and he's got rushing upside. So I mean, I love his upside as far as rushing goes. Philly's not necessarily the best against rush. They're much better against the pass. So if Fields can have some design runs, I feel he can have some success there. Hurts has 29-plus fantasy points in 3 straight games and 20-plus points in 8 straight games. So there's really no downside to him, and you're looking for a big game from him as well.
No doubt. It's going to be a kind of a boring game to watch, I think, but just because I think it's going to be like a blowout.
I think it could be. One of the guys I like. I really do like Miles Sanders in this game. He's gone for 140 and 2 in 2 of the last 3.
Is that right?
Yep. There was one game in between there where it wasn't as good, but he's got 5 scores in his last 3 games. He's kind of become a must start in fantasy. Where
I have Miles Sanders.
Yeah, he wasn't all year, but
he's been good for me this year.
Yeah, he necessarily wasn't a must start all year, but he's been pretty good, and recently they're using him a lot more.
Right.
And I do like him in this game. I like that Philly pass offense. I'm even willing to roll out Dallas Goedert if they have him come back from that from IR. Mm-hmm. He wasn't pulled off IR the last time I checked. I am going to check for you right now to make sure and see. He hasn't been pulled off yet. They did not activate him, so he's not going to play.
Okay. Alrighty. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Houston Texans. 61% of the money is on Kansas City laying 14.5. 74% of the money is on the under at 48.5. 86% of the money is on Kansas City money line at minus 1,000.
Wow.
I don't want anything to do with this game at all. I don't want to watch it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's wow. All right. So the value index tool here has Houston being the team to take in this one.
That's a lot. 14.5.
Yeah, so they have them as a 6.91 value index team to take here. They have Kansas City winning 27-20.
I don't agree with that one bit.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, but a 14.5 is a lot of points, and I think if I was going to lean any direction in this one, I would lean towards taking the Texans. Texans have been, let's see, the Texans. They covered against Dallas, getting 17.5.
Yeah.
Double-digit underdogs are 14-7 against the spread this year, overall. So
right.
Patrick Mahomes is 5-10-1 against the spread when operating as a 10-point favorite throughout his career. 10-point or more favorite, I should say. So I'm leaning towards all those things. Kind of tell me to take Houston in this one.
I do think Kansas City is going to score more points than 27 or 28. I heard. Yeah. I don't know what he did, but it's probably not good.
Oh, I'm dead. Carl.
Yeah, he I don't know what he did, but he wasn't good. So,
jeez, come on, hot Carl.
Fantasy wise, obviously, pretty much all your Chiefs you're starting. Obviously.
Yeah. So
I think Kelsey's going to eat today.
I'm looking at some of the rankings. I do really like Patrick Mahomes in this one. I have him rated as my number 1 quarterback on the week. Yeah. Obviously, it's not really a shocker there. So looking at the running back situation, I have Isaiah Pacheco at 14 for the week. I think this is a really big smash spot for him. I think he's gonna have a really good week this week. Mm-hmm. Houston can't stop the run. They won't be able to stop Mahomes, and that's going to lead to basically a lot of second half opportunity for Pacheco. I think in this one, the receivers, Juju, I got him rated at 17th. I think he could have a decent game in this one. He's been decent on the year. He hasn't been lights out, but I mean he's been consistent as long as he's been in the game. His thing was he couldn't really stay healthy.
No.
And then if we're looking at the tight end spot, with Travis Kelce, I mean you're never sitting that guy.
Nope.
He's been the only tight end that's been consistent all year. And this is a spot where I think he can definitely take advantage of.
I think Kelsey eats today.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
I don't think he's going to have like 4 touchdowns like he did earlier in the year, but I think his numbers overall are going to be solid today.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a guy at tight end, Kelsey's 5th in the NFL in receiving yards. He's 7th in receptions from the tight end spot.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's been by far the best tight end all year. There's a lot of room in between him and the second-rated tight end for the year. You're starting him every week, and this is a very good matchup for him. So I'd be happy about that.
Anything on the Houston side you like?
Not really. I mean, Damian Pierce has already been ruled out.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of garbage time points in this too.
There is, and for that being said, I'll say that Chris Moore is one that I kind of like in this game. So he's a wide receiver for Houston. Brandon Cooks is out. Nico Collins is out. Damian Pierce is out. Chris Moore had a very good week last week. He had 11 targets, turned that into 10 catches for 124 yards. He also went 4 for 43 and a touchdown the last time Cooks and Collins were both out. So this is a decent matchup for him in a game where they're going to be throwing a lot. And then Burkhead is another one. He's a sneaky play. If you have injuries or whatever, and he's the only guy you have to pick up if you're in the playoffs and you had Damian Pierce go down, you picked up Rex Burkhead. Or if you're in DFS, Rex Burkhead is a decent play today. There's going to be a lot of passing offense, and Burkhead is a receiving back, so he could be very active.
Got it. Next up, we got Dallas taking on Jacksonville. 57% of the money is on Dallas laying 4. 80% of the money is on the over at 47.5. 78% of the money is on Dallas money line at minus 210.
And what's the over in this one?
47.5.
Okay. Yeah, see, that total's climbed. I think it's climbed up 2.5 points since it came out. Value Index tool has, let me see here. Sorry, I'm switching from so many screens. Where is this fucking game?
I can see this game being kind of a shootout.
Yeah, I think both offenses are gonna be scoring in this one. Let's see. This has Dallas as basically a 2-point value index team here. Has them winning 31-25.
So not huge on the Cowboys in this one, confidence wise.
Yeah, not huge. It has them as the value index leader in this one, but not a huge.
I mean, I think they'll win. I do. I think Dallas will absolutely win this game.
Right.
But I don't see it as being like a blowout or anything like that.
Yeah, like I said, they have it 31-25, so within a touchdown there. And if you're looking at this, like I said, the totals has kind of crept up a little bit, which tells me that everyone was betting the over, which is pushing this up a little bit.
Right.
Because both these teams can score. I think it's going to be that way. This is really one of the most exciting matchups of the week, honestly. And I wouldn't have said that a long time ago, but
right.
As far as fantasy goes and as far as scoring goes, this could be one of the better matchups of the week.
Well, I mean, you look at Dallas. You look at how they struggled last week against the Texans.
They did, but they
put up points though.
They put up points,
Yeah.
and they have a fast-paced offense.
Yeah.
It's 2 fast-paced offenses going at it. You got Dallas and Jacksonville are both inside the top 5 in neutral game scripts, as far as seconds per snap and as far as scoring and pace of play.
Mm-hmm.
This is projected as a 1-score game, and it's projected as a 48 over. So you're basically saying that both these teams are going to put up points.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And then that translates well to fantasy.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I mean, if you're looking at the quarterback situation, I got Dak as my number 7 quarterback of the week. He's struggled a bit fantasy wise, but the Jaguars are allowing 18.9 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks this year. So I mean that bodes well for him there. And if you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, he's coming off a huge performance against. Actually, he's coming off a couple of very good performances off of some terrible defenses. But Dallas's defense is much better than the defenses he's faced recently. With that being said, he's kind of been playing very, very, very well. And I hesitate to say he's been playing great, but he's been playing very, very well. And I would look for that to continue against a Dallas team where they're going to have to try and keep pace with him. So
They can definitely throw on that defense. 100% they can throw on that defense. Now, can they stop the pass rush of Dallas? That remains to be seen.
right, and that's the thing, and that's where maybe the mobility of Trevor Lawrence can possibly come in. He can scramble a little bit, roll out a little bit, basically just shift the pocket. You don't necessarily have to run. You don't have to run outside the pocket, but you can if you shift the pocket.
Yeah.
If you're able to maneuver and shift in the pocket to avoid some of that pass rush, to avoid some of the swatting hands coming at you, and be able to make a play, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that can do that, and he's been getting better at that all year.
Yes.
And then you look at if you look at the running game, ETN. I don't have him ranked very high this week. I do have Zeke and Tony Pollard ranked up there because in this offense, both guys are eating recently.
They really are.
And Pollard is more explosive.
Yes.
Zeke has been just consistent, man, and I've been impressed with him this year. Everyone kind of said he was done, and he's just consistently grinded out yardage and touchdowns, and he doesn't look like the same Zeke that you should be paying $30-some million to, but
No, he doesn't.
he's been consistent, man.
Is that going to
And
be the last of like the big contracts that are given to running backs?
I think it very well might be.
Like that's the one that like owners are going to look at and be like, no.
So it might be. So I still see guys like I think Jonathan Taylor's going to get a big contract. I think Nick Chubb's going to get a big contract. You're going to see the very, very special running backs get big contracts, but I don't see them getting long-term big contracts.
I think that's
I see them getting short-term big money contracts,
Right.
Because the lifespan of a running back has been determined that it's not long.
So we've seen that. It's what your prime years are like 3-4 years maybe.
Right.
Maybe if
And
you stay healthy.
And that's if. And as a running back, you take a lot of hits, you take a lot of pounding. So that I think you're going to see some big contracts, but they're going to be shorter term contracts, maybe 2-3 years, in the $25 million range.
God, 'cause you remember when it was like running backs were getting just major, massive
yeah.
contracts, and it was just kind of
yeah.
like. But that's when the NFL was a different game.
Well, and
like,
now
it was more
it's-
of a run first game. Now it's pass first. you know?
Absolutely. Well, we've seen this last offseason, right? We're seeing wide receivers get the big contracts now.
Yeah.
Right? Well, A.J. Brown.
Yeah, because the game is going that way.
Exactly. A.J. Brown got the bag. Tyreek Hill got the bag. I mean, you're seeing wide receivers. It's trending more in that direction. You're going to see the special running backs get the big money over short-term contracts. You're not going to see the long-term big money contracts like Zeke.
No, because they become an albatross
and
for the
McCaffrey
organization.
and
especially with a cap league, it's like, oh
Yep.
shit, dude, I could take this money. And running backs now, because it's such a dual position now. It's not just like that bell cow like it used to be. And that was now you got to factor in. Oh shit, now I got for the price of one running back that I would give a massive contract to.
Yep.
I can get two for that price.
Yep.
So
I can get a running back that can pound the rock.
exactly.
And then I can also get a running back that can receive out of the backfield on third downs.
Yeah.
And I can get two backs for the price of one that are very good at what they do.
Yeah.
Not the best overall
Which you don't
rounded
need
backs. Right.
because
I mean
if your
you-
offensive line is good enough,
Right. Well, and if you have a guy like Nick Chubb is one of those guys. Christian McCaffrey is one of those guys. Right
Yeah.
now he just can't stay healthy. But Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, those guys are the guys that are like they're the new breed running back. They can receive out of the backfield. They're very good. They're very fast, very shifty. But they also can pound it up there for 2 yards and get you a touchdown on the goal line. You know what I mean? Or in the within the 5 years. They're those running backs that can do both.
But I think that's was kind of getting my point. Is what I wanted to say is I feel like you need a guy that can also receive out of the
Right.
backfield. Like
Absolutely.
I almost feel like that's almost like a prerequisite now as a running back
Absolutely.
because of just how the league is.
Yeah. Well, and you've seen to that point, your
Yeah.
point, you've seen teams that don't have that dual threat guy go out and get a receiving running back.
Buffalo.
Or you've seen them go out and get like the teams that have one and not the other, they've gone out to get the other.
Right.
And that's what they've needed. And they don't have like Buffalo has 3 guys that can receive out of the backfield. They have nobody to pound the rock.
They don't.
They have nobody to do that. They have Singletary. They have Hines.
Yeah.
And they have James Cook. Now, James Cook is a little bit more of the pounder, and I think he could be that guy for them. I like what I see from him. But yeah, the league is trending more towards being the dual threat guy.
Yep.
I think Buffalo might have that guy in James Cook. I like him a lot.
They got to incorporate him more.
Right, and that's the whole thing. I think they've been slow to incorporate him. I think the more they do, the better off they're going to be. But yeah, you need that guy. But with Dallas, they've got two guys that are almost both of those things. Now, Pollard's more the receiving guy at this point, but they've got two guys who are dual threats. So no matter if they have either one of those guys back there, they can run it up the middle.
Yep.
They can swing it out.
Yep.
They can go out for a screen pass. They can do over the middle cut. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do with both those running backs, and they've been utilizing them very well.
Oh, and they're going to sign Odell too.
Oh, Jesus. Don't get me started.
Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints in a division game that nobody wants to win. 53% of the money is on Atlanta getting 4.5. 59% of the money is on the under at 43.5. 58% of the money is on New Orleans money line at minus 205. Another game I want nothing to do with.
And this is a game where they faced each other in week 1, and yet here in week 15, this is a very different matchup than
It
we saw
really
in
is.
week 1.
Two teams that hate each other.
Very much so.
But
So Dennis says, I know it's way off topic, but I can't get past that hoodie, Chris. Best hoodie I've ever seen.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
What is it?
Lake Superior State.
Oh, gotcha. Did you get that on your trip this year?
I did.
Yeah. Nice.
Got it at the rink.
Nice. First of all, thanks for listening, Dennis. And yeah, I agree. That is a nice
Much
sweatshirt.
appreciated. Thank you.
This matchup, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota faced off in week 1.
Yeah.
Now it's Andy Dalton and Desmond Ritter.
Again, I didn't even know who Desmond Ritter was.
He was a highly touted rookie that ended up dropping in the draft that Atlanta took, and I think they're smart to take a look at him and see what they got. He did pretty well in preseason. He was the dual quarterback in preseason, but again, it's preseason. We'll see. The Falcons are 4-1.
What?
Yeah, the Falcons are 4-1 toward the under.
Okay.
Over their last 5. Saints have also hit the under in 4 of their last 5. So this is pushing towards an under game here.
I can absolutely see the under in this one. 100%.
The value index has Atlanta being the team to take here at a 6.65 value index team. They actually have Atlanta winning 19-16 in this game.
Now it's so funny. We look at that, and I can absolutely see that being like kind of the score. But this will be the game that is like a shootout.
Oddly, so it happens every week where there's a game where you think it's not going to be high scoring.
It's like,
that turns out to
be
a
track meet.
Yeah,
it's like okay, and then games we think are going to be low scoring, it'll turn out to be it's crazy. Or the games that we think are going to be track meets end up like 19-16 or 21-17, whatever.
Yep.
But
exactly. Fantasy wise, I don't necessarily like a lot in this game. I mean, Olave's been making his case for offensive rookie of the year. He's just 113 yards away from 1,000 yards for the season. He's got a 25% target share, 40% of the team's air yards. So he's a guy that you look at and you can play him. And Alvin Kamara, obviously, you're not sitting him. You're expecting a little more than he's been producing over the season, but you kind of have to play him and just hope for the best coming out of a bye week that they can get him on track.
Right. Anything for Atlanta?
Not really, man. I don't know what to expect under Ritter. I mean,
who does he even have to throw to?
Is London playing? Let's see. Let's see. Drake London is a guy. I mean, he's kind of the jump ball guy.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm looking at the fantasy rankings this week, and he's way down there.
So I mean, Ritter played with Alec Pierce in college, and basically, if you look at it, Ritter helped get Pierce his drafted in round 2. By all accounts, because he was one thrown to Alec Pierce, and
right.
Alec Pierce looked good and got drafted in the second round. So I mean, Alec Pierce is a jump ball guy. Just same as Drake London is. He's a tall guy He's a guy that goes up and gets the ball at the very, at the very top of it. He goes and gets the ball. He doesn't wait for it to come to him. So that might be a decent play here. I don't really necessarily love it, and I don't like anything else in this game, really, on that side of the ball.
All right. Next up, we have the biggest game of the week. The Detroit Lions taking on the New York Jets. 65% of the money is on the Lions getting 1.5. 56% of the money is on the over at 43.5.
Are they still getting 1.5?
Yep.
Wow.
According to this.
Wow.
And 70% of the money is on the Lions even money line. Now, this might change with the news that Quinnen Williams is out today for the Jets.
Okay.
So that spread might change a little bit.
To me, it should have changed the minute they said Zach Wilson was starting.
Yes.
Like, that surprises me that they're still at -1 or 1.5.
Like, because after the show, I'm one of the guys I play baseball with. He's a huge Jets fan. We're gonna go over to his place and watch this game. And I told the guys, I go, if you're a gambler, hammer the Lions in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hammer the Lions in this one.
So I believe on Tuesday I picked the Jets.
I think I took the Lions.
I believe. I don't remember.
I think
Can
you
you
took
look
the
that? Can you? Maybe I did.
I
Can
thought you
look that
took the
up?
Lions as well. Yeah, I'm almost positive you did.
You know what? Maybe I did.
I think you did.
And I did say that I thought the Jets.
This is before we
I wouldn't
knew
be,
who was going to
yeah, you're right. I did say I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets did win this game. I think so. I'm trying to remember what I took on Tuesday. But after the news of Wilson broke as the starter for the Jets,
No, you took the Jets.
my thought process instantly changed.
Actually, so did I. Shit.
My thought process instantly changed on this.
Yeah.
If Mike White was healthy and playing, I thought the Jets had a better shot winning this. Now Quinnen
Right.
Williams not playing is big.
That's big.
And I think the bigger news, honestly, is that Zach Wilson's starting. He's barely got a 50% pass completion percentage. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns, and he makes piss poor decisions. So for me, this is now that Wilson's starting, this is a hammer to the Lions.
Oh, hammer the Lions. Once I heard that he was starting, I'm like, no,
This is absolutely a hammer the
Lions.
Lions situation.
Now,
Now, with that being said,
yep.
Lions fans, brace yourselves for a letdown because you've seen this happen. I'm just saying brace yourselves. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying brace yourselves because I care about your feelings, and you're looking at getting hurt again. Now, it's a very good situation that Zach Wilson's starting. It helps it out that Quinnen Williams is not going to play.
But we've seen it so many times in the SOL situation.
Again, you've seen it. Backup quarterbacks beat the Lions. Now, Zach Wilson is not your typical backup quarterback. Zach Wilson sucks.
He's terrible.
So this is a good thing for Lions fans. I believe they are going to win this game. I'm just saying because I care about you people, brace yourselves.
All right, percentage chance that you see Joe Flacco in this game. And not due to injury.
50% chance.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought as well.
50%
I
chance.
think at some point Joe Flacco will be in this game.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then it bodes very well for Lions fans because that means you're kicking their ass and they have to take Zach Wilson out because he sucks so bad.
Yes.
Let's see. The Detroit Lions at home are 6-2 against the spread and 6-2 towards the over. On the road, the Detroit Lions are 3-2 against the spread and 3-2 towards the over. Jets at home are 4-2 toward the under. So if that tells you anything, read those how you want to. I'm just reading the stats off to you and letting you know how they play out.
Like other spread wise, like I said, I'm hammering the Lions on this one.
Yep.
Money line, spread, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hammering Detroit in this one.
Yep, I would take them not on money line. I would take them money line, not against the spread, because you're going to get better.
It's even money.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be better for you to bet them just to win the game as
Right.
opposed to getting the 1 or 1.5 points or whatever you're going to put.
That's a good
That
point.
doesn't make any sense, right?
Right.
So I would definitely put money line on the Lions on this one.
Yep. No, I'm with you 100% on that. Just in general, because I think they're honestly, I think the Lions are actually going to win this game. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I think they're
do
absolutely
too,
gonna
yeah.
win this game.
Yeah, I do too. I absolutely do at this point. And my thoughts changed on that one as soon as Zach Wilson was the starter.
Yes.
Now, again, when we picked on Tuesday, I believe I said I took the Jets, but I would not be surprised if the Lions won because, they're playing very well, and they've got a lot of things going for them right now. And now I'm definitely on the Lions side on this one. I think they're going to win this game, and I think Lions fans will live to fight another day in the hopes of making the playoffs.
I 100% concur with that. For as much shit as we get to the Lions, it's hard to not give them their props right now because they're playing very good football.
They absolutely are.
So even though they got a coach who was not paying attention, he was watching the wave during that Sewell fucking.
We'll get into that on Tuesday, and that kind of goes to what I said last week. I think they're winning despite their coach, not because of him. We'll get into that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I have a big reason why this team is winning, and it's definitely not their head coach. But that's a big thing right there. When you're listening to your offensive coordinator tell you what play he wants to call, and you're too busy watching the wave and paying attention to the wave, and you just say, yeah, okay.
That's a problem.
Like, what are you doing, man?
That's an issue.
What are you doing? Dennis says the waves are now banned at Ford Field.
The wave should be banned everywhere. I'm sorry.
I agree. I fucking hate the wave. I get it. People are like, "Oh, it's just fans having fun." I get it. First of all, don't do the wave when your team has is on offense and they have the football. What are you doing? Okay, I know you're not used to having a winning football team, and you're not the only city that does this. Okay, but I'm just going to throw it out there for you. Now that you have a football team that is actually winning games, you're supposed to be quiet when they're on offense and loud when they're on defense.
Well, they have huge signs at Ford Field that says "Quiet offense at work."
Apparently, Lions fans can't read.
He can't even read.
Don't be mean to the delivery guy. It's not his fault he can't read. Yeah, Lions fans, when you're at home and your team is on offense,
Yes.
be loud when they're on defense. Do the wave when they're on defense. Do all that shit when they're on defense.
Yes. What do you like fantasy in this?
So fantasy, it's hard to go against the Lions offense, and they've been consistent, but temper your expectations. The Jets defense is very good. You're going to have Amon-Ra, who's probably going to be matched up against Sauce Gardner for most of the game.
I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup.
I am too. I want to see how it plays out. Sauce Gardner is Pro Football Focus's number one cornerback. Not just rookie. Number one corner.
And we said that when he got drafted. Like, we loved that draft pick when he was taken by the Jets.
I loved all of the Jets draft.
Yeah.
And the one thing I need to say about this, and we'll get into it more on Tuesday, but the Lions draft is turning out to be very impressive as well. And they're having a lot of guys that they drafted in this year and last contribute to their win streak right now.
Right.
And that's things you haven't had in recent years with Lions. And as Lions fans, you haven't had anything other than your first round picks contribute.
Right.
And even then, sometimes they didn't contribute there.
No.
But you're having second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round guys contributing to your win streak. So that bodes well for you. That's playing out very well. Even Jameson Williams, who came back for one fucking game, caught one pass for a touchdown. It was 40-some yard touchdown. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup with Sauce Gardner. You got Zach Wilson starting, which I don't like. Corey Davis is out with a concussion, but you got Garrett Wilson, who is a very good receiver, who's done very well this year. Mm-hmm. You've got Elijah Moore, who was drafted a few years ago, who is finally starting to pan out again. And you've got Zonovan Knight, who once Breece Hall went down again, another draft pick for the Jets that I really liked. You didn't like him.
I did not like it.
But he was doing very well in this offense, and then he got hurt. But Zonovan Knight came in, and they call him Bam. He's averaged 18.6 touches a game over his last three. The Jets have leaned on the run a little bit more. They definitely lean on the run when Wilson is starting under center. So I look for him to have a decent game today against the Lions. This game could be a shootout, or it could be one of those. This is a game where it's a Jekyll and Hyde game. Like, the Jets defense is very good, but the Lions offense is very good, right?
I see this as like a middle of the road type game.
And it very well could be.
Yeah.
Like, the Jets offense, can the Jets offense do enough to keep pace with the Lions, and can the Jets defense stop the Lions? Like, those are the two things. This game kind of falls on how the Jets are able to play, because the Lions are the better team in this matchup right now. If you're looking at it with Zach Wilson at quarterback, no Quinnen Williams, the way the Lions are coming into this matchup on their win streak, they're the better team. It's whether it kind of comes down to both defenses, I guess. Is the Lions defense going to be able to stand up, or are they the defense that was early on in the season? Are they? And then the Jets defense, can they stop that potent Lions offense?
I think they're not going to stop the offense. I think they'll be able to somewhat contain it a little bit. So if I were going back to the betting aspect of this, if I were to look at the over under, I would lean toward the under on this one.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, at 43.5, I could absolutely see that. But We shall see what happens with that game. Oh, good Lord, this next game. Do we even have to do this game? Fucking Christ. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Denver Broncos. Ooh. If you're betting on this game, you have a problem. I'm sorry you do. 52% of the money is on Arizona getting 1.5. 73% of the money is on the under at 36.5. I fucking love that. And 68% of the money is on Arizona money line at plus 110.
Oh, and this is a game of backup quarterbacks, by the way.
Lord.
Colt,
This game should not even be on television.
Colt McCoy, if you're watching Red Zone, you're not going to see much of it, I don't think. Colt McCoy and Brett Rippon. In case you went, who?
Exactly.
It's
yes.
Colt McCoy, who you've probably heard of because you've been in the league for 20 years.
If you paid for tickets for this game,
I'm sorry.
You should just flush it down the toilet, honestly.
And Brett Rippon are both, yeah.
Is that Mark Rippon's kid?
I don't know, honestly.
That's something I can.
Yeah, you might want to look that up.
I'm gonna look that up.
So this is not one that's really on my radar for anything. If you're going to look at value index has Arizona being a 1.5 value index.
He's the nephew
team
of
right
Mark
here.
Rippon.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. The value index has Arizona winning this game 20-19.
The value index just say, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah, they have Arizona winning this game 20-19. I would say that's probably high. I would be all over the under in this one. I don't think that this game's going to be very sloppy.
I think it's going to be one of the worst. Yeah.
Both these offenses are sloppy with their starting quarterbacks in there, let alone with both backups.
This has the potential to be one of the worst games of the year. And oddly enough, it's not on a Thursday.
Right? Yeah, I don't have much to say about this matchup at all, to be honest with you. I would stay away from everything in this game that I could.
Agreed. Even fantasy-wise, you got nothing?
Nothing.
All right,
fucking
then.
nothing.
Next up, we got New England taking on Las Vegas. 62% of the money is on the Patriots getting 2. 69% of the money is on the under at 45. 55% of the money is on the Raiders money line at minus 120.
Value index has the Raiders being the team to take here as a 1-point value index team. They have Vegas winning this game 24-21. And let's see, the Raiders' home games have hit the over in 4 of 5. They are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 at home as well. In terms of play volume and pace of play, this is one of the worst games on the slate as far as that goes. Neither team plays a fast-paced game. They both rank towards the bottom 12 in neutral game script and seconds per snap. They're bottom 12 in plays per game. So, I mean, you gotta think this is going to be a low-scoring game. It's not going to be a fast-paced game. Not going to be a ton of offense on either side. With that being said, I think the run games are looking better. So Ramondre Stevenson's banged up coming in this one. He had two did not participate, and then 1 limited participation as far as practice goes. But if he plays, I'd play him. Pierre Strong was a guy who got in last week when he went down because Damian Harris was out again, and he's out again this week. Josh Jacobs. I mean, that dude's
he's had a year.
Baller.
Yeah, he's had a year.
And I have him rated as my number 1 running back on the week. So play him. The slow pace of play, the running game bodes very well for him in this game, and he's just been lights out all year. So
as for the New England offense, what kind of offense are you going to get this week?
Are
they actually going to let Mac Jones throw the ball a little bit, or is it going to be more of the same check down?
I think it's going to be check down Charlie and a lot of runs. I see the pace of play in this game being very, very slow and very methodical.
I just want to see Mac Jones yell at Matt Patricia again.
Oh, you're going to get it.
I love that.
You're going to get it again.
It's awesome.
We've gotten it 2 weeks in a row. He's got to go for 3 weeks in a row.
I love it. Yeah, this is a game that I won't pay much attention to because.
And if you have Devontae Adams, you're playing him. He's been hit or miss. He's been one of the very good receivers over the year, but this is a game that doesn't necessarily bode well for him. His stats last week weren't great. I can tell you that for a fact because I have him in one of my leagues. But temper your expectations. But you're playing him, and that Patriots secondary is banged up. So if they do take some shots to him, I expect him to have some success.
All right. Next up, we got the Titans taking on the Chargers. 58% of the money is on Tennessee getting 3. 68% of the money is on the over at 46.5. 82% of the money is on the Chargers money line at minus 150.
Value Index says to take the Chargers. They're a 3.16 Value Index team in this one. They have them winning 25-19 against Tennessee in this game. Let's see. The Titans are 5-2 against the spread this year on the road. Chargers are 4-1 against the spread, facing teams with winning records this year. These are two very contrasting offenses in this game, right? So you're looking at
these are two teams that should be significantly better than they are.
I agree with both, though. I agree with that statement for sure. This should be a rather middle of the road game script. I think the pace of play is going to be middle of the road. You're going to get the Titans wanting to run the ball early. The Chargers can run the ball.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly. So you're going to get some teams that can run the ball, but then the better passing team is the Chargers, which is why I kind of back up the Value Index, picking them as the winner of this game, and along with against the spread as well. So I have Justin Herbert being my fourth best wide receiver, fourth best quarterback on the week. So Dave Beek says, you think Jacobs will be slowed down by his finger cast? Not one bit. I'll be honest with you. I don't see that happening. That dude's been a monster this season. I just see him being able to continue the success he's had, and he's playing for a contract basically because they're not picking up his fifth year. They're going to let him test free agent market, or they're going to sign him to a long-term contract, and he's playing for his livelihood at this point. So I see the success continuing with him, with or without that cast. I don't see any faults in his game.
Right. If Donovan Edwards can do it, he can do it.
Yeah. So back to this game, Justin Herbert. Dave, appreciate you listening, brother, and appreciate the question. If anybody out there is listening and has any questions, feel free to ask. We'll definitely answer them. So Justin Herbert, I have him rated as fourth best quarterback on the week. He's facing a Titans defense that has, lack of better way of putting it, they've completely collapsed over the last month.
And this is why I actually do like the over in this one. I like the over big time in this one.
Yeah, I think I would take the over. Both teams can score.
Yep.
The Chargers defense is not necessarily very good, so even if the Titans have to end up passing the ball, they can against this defense.
Right.
Some of the fantasy matchups I like. I like this Okonkwo tight end from Tennessee. He's come on very strong in the last few weeks. He's a guy that's I would play him in DFS, and if you were able, tight end position sucks. So if you had a tight end that wasn't producing for you and you picked up this guy, play him. I like him in this matchup. I think he can have some success in this matchup. Mm-hmm. And on the other side of the ball, Herbert, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. You're playing your guys in this one. I think it's going to be a decent matchup, a decent game where you're going to see some offense on both sides.
Agreed. Next up, we have the Bengals taking on the Buccaneers. 72% of the money is on the Bengals, minus 3.5. 60% of the money is on the over at 45.5. And 76% of the money is on Cincinnati money line at minus 195.
Let's see. The value index in this one has Cincinnati being the team to take at 3.9 value index in this one. They have them winning 23-15 in this game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's all the average scores that they come up with after the. So I mean, they're not necessarily predicting it's going to be 23-15, but those are all the average scores that came out, and that's what it averaged out to. Almost 23 points to a little over 15 points. The Bengals enter this game basically red hot with a 10-1 record against the spread over their last 11.
Yep.
Tampa Bay is at the opposite side of that one, posting a 9-1 record against the spread. The pace of play for this game, it projects to be on the upper end for the Week 15 games. Mm-hmm. Both these offenses are among the league leaders in pass rate, and both are known to have a pretty fast pace of play. So you can expect a lot of offensive snaps in this game for both teams, which bodes well for fantasy.
What Tampa Bay team are you getting?
I mean,
That's the issue. What Tampa Bay team are you getting? I
think you're getting the one that you've gotten recently that can, they can put up some yards, they can put up some points, but they're not going to be explosive. They're not going to be dynamic. I look for guys like I have Tom Brady ranked as my number 9 quarterback on the week.
Okay.
He's looked terrible. He faces a very good Cincinnati Bengals defense.
He has looked terrible.
He's looked awful. But I have Joe Burrow as my number 5 quarterback. Burrow's he's been down some weapons, obviously. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, I think they both left that game early. He's got Jamar Chase back, and they're clicking again. So I think I trust him. I like him at number 5 this week as far as quarterbacks go. If I'm looking at running back, let's see. Where do I have Mixon at? I have Mixon ranked at 5 this week. I think he's going to get a lot of work in this one. Not only just running the football, I think he's going to be receiving out of the backfield as well. I mean, you could do worse than a lot of the guys on both these offenses. I think Chris Godwin's a good play, a decent play. You kind of have to play him. I think Tampa Bay is going to be playing from behind again, so they're going to be throwing a lot.
Garbage time, baby.
Yep, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. They're going to get volume. And then the Tampa Bay ground game is turned into a 2-man attack basically at this point. You got Fournette and Rachaad White. They've gotten Rachaad White more involved in recent weeks. So you could play both those guys, and Rachaad White hasn't been as much involved in the passing game as Leonard Fournette. So I think your points you're looking for from Lenny are looking to get the receiving volume once the game is. Once they're trying to play catch up and pass more.
I don't know. I just watch the Bucs. I'm just like, what? Like, this team's just garbage.
They're not good.
They're not good. And luckily, they play in a division that's horrendous.
Yeah, that division is bad.
Literally every team in the division is under 500. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. Next up, we got the Giants taking on the Redskins. 65% of the money is on the Giants getting 4.5. 61% of the money is on the over at 40.5. 56% of the money is on the Giants money line at plus 180.
Value Index has the Giants being the team to take at 1.6 on the Value Index tool. They have Washington winning this game.
God, what happened to the Giants?
23-20. I think their talent level finally balanced out. I mean, they were. I think they were overplaying.
They say like water always finds its level.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Daboll got more out of this team in the beginning of the year than what he probably should have and could have. Right? I mean, we attributed their beginning season wins basically to Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Same as we did with the Jets with Saleh. I mean, that was more coaching and behind the scenes stuff than it was really talent level. Now the Jets have a better team than the Giants, in my opinion. If we're talking about both those teams, but when it comes down to the Giants' success in the early season and what happened to them, I think it's talent level.
Yeah.
And like you said, what was the phrase you said?
Water always finds its level.
Yes, and that's kind of what's happened here. I lean in the direction of Washington winning this game.
And with Danny Dimes as your quarterback.
Yeah, I think Washington will win this game, but I'm not necessarily sure it's going to be by more than 4.5. So I kind of do lean with the value index on this one. I think it might be a field goal.
I could see a field goal game 100% in this, especially division rivals.
Yep.
You're probably going to be playing on a shitty track in Washington because that field is generally horrendous.
Well, and these two teams played 2 weeks ago, and they played to a
2020
tie.
Which that's exactly how that game deserved to end.
Yeah, and so you've got division games. Unders are 39, 26-1 this year. Daniel Jones is 16-7 against the spread on the road in his career. Taylor Heineke is 5-1-1 against the spread since taking over.
Nice.
So this one is one where I would lean the direction of Washington. I just don't necessarily know it's going to be more than 4.5.
Given that tie, like if I were to throw some money on this, I wouldn't mind throwing money on the Giants getting that money line. They're plus 180.
Yeah,
why not? Throw a couple bucks on that.
I mean, Yeah, because they do have a shot to win.
They do. It's not like they're going to get blown out in this game.
it's not like Washington is that good.
Exactly.
So is Washington a better team? Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean, they're not that much better. So
No.
I wouldn't be against sprinkling some money on the money line for the Giants.
Absolutely. What do you like fantasy in this?
I like Saquon Barkley in this game. I have him rated as my 6th best running back on the week.
Okay.
You still got to fire him up. It's been a rough month, but I mean, I still think he's a guy you got to fire in there, and it's a decent matchup. He can win in this game as far as fantasy points go. I have Heineke. Let's see where I have the quarterbacks this week. They're very low, honestly. I have Heineke at number 15.
Is Danny Dimes even on the list?
Daniel Jones. I have him at 14. I have him at 14.
right.
So they're right with each other. 14 and 15.
Right.
They can have success in this game. Not necessarily going to win your fantasy playoff game with these guys, but they could have success. Guys like Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. I'm kind of staying away from those guys right now. They both logged limited practices. They're both a little banged up. Robinson's got a quad injury. Gibson's got a foot injury. Can they have success? Yes. I don't necessarily know if I'm excited to put them in my lineups. With that being said, and then on the other side of the ball, looking at the passing offense of the Giants. I'm sorry. Hodges is one that he's had some success recently in this makeshift Giants passing game. Obviously Darius Slayton has gotten his, but Hodges is a guy where he's interesting to me. If you can spend down on him in DFS, you got some money elsewhere to spend, and he could still get you 5 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown, and you'll be okay with spending that on a guy like that.
Right. Next up, the final game of the Week 15 slate, and a game that looked tremendously sexier at the beginning of the season than it does now.
Yes.
The Los Angeles Rams taking on the Green Bay Packers. 54% of the money is on the Rams getting 7. 62% of the money is on the under at 39.5. And 94% of the money is on Green Bay money line at minus 305.
Value index has the Rams being the team to take here at a 2.2 value index. They have Green Bay winning almost 26-21 based on their projections and how their simulations played out. This is a game that I just don't care about this game.
I really don't.
With you.
I don't either.
This might be one of the Monday night matchups that I kind of have on in the background and don't really pay attention to.
Yep.
I have Aaron Rodgers rated as my 19th best quarterback on the week, just below Jared Goff because of that Jets defense with him. But Aaron Rodgers has not been very good. And when you look at Baker Mayfield, I mean, listen, he came out last week in a situation that really he should not have succeeded in, and he did. But he's still Baker Mayfield, right? And that's coming from a guy who is a fan of Baker Mayfield,
yep.
right? So I mean, he's not necessarily the upper echelon of guys that are going to go out there and win you games. And that Rams team is pretty decimated, right? So
They are incredibly decimated.
the fact that he pulled it off last week is pretty amazing. But I wouldn't expect those kind of heroics 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, the fact that he did it, like how he did it against, of course it was the Raiders, because it was just like, good
Right.
Lord. That was like such an SOL collapse. It really was.
Oh, absolutely.
But
So was the Indianapolis game.
Oh, yeah,
yesterday.
100%.
But yeah, I listen. Aaron Jones could be a good play for you in this game, and Christian Watson maybe if you're looking for like the guy. The
I
guy
think he's
is
come on pretty.
He
pretty
has.
strong,
And he's a guy that I compared him to Chris Carter, and not that he's going to be like Chris
easy,
Carter.
easy.
My comparison.
And this is what you're saying. Like you actually preface it with like, "Hey, I'm not comparing like career wise, but some of the things he does, they remind me of Chris Carter."
Yeah,
yes.
like he reminds me of Chris. Not that
Right.
he's gonna be as good.
Exactly.
Not Chris Carter's a Hall of Famer. Chris Carter was one of the best.
I
receivers
can't
played
say
in
it
the
when
game.
people say that and they're like, he's not Chris or he's not whomever the
Yeah.
guy you're comparing. I'm like, dude, that's not what I'm saying.
I know.
Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
I'm saying basically everyone used to always say Chris Carter, all he does is catch touchdowns, right?
He caught a lot of them.
He caught a ton of them. And he was a guy that would catch 5 balls for 70 yards, and 2 of them would be touchdowns, right? I mean,
Right.
he had a high percentage of catches that were touchdowns, and Christian Watson has been that guy over the second half of the season for Green Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have 4 catches on the game, and 3 of them are touchdowns. I mean, he's been at an extraordinary pace of catching touchdowns.
He's better than Chris Carter.
So don't say that. You're gonna have us getting mail and
Yeah,
everything.
right.
But so I'm comparing him in that sense to he has been catching a lot of touchdowns. He hasn't been getting a ton of volume.
Chris Carter should be compared to him.
But stop it.
I do have some injury updates.
Okay.
If
Yeah. We should go through that because we haven't gone through that at all.
Active: Trevor Lawrence, Chris Jones, Kadarius Toney, DJ Moore, Jawan Johnson, and Frank Ragnow. Inactive: Trayvon Walker, Marshawn Lattimore, N'Keal Harry, Quinnen Williams, James Robinson, and Eno Benjamin.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we flew through this slate of games.
We really did. That was
That was a very fast-paced show.
It really was, especially with obviously the 3 games yesterday, which we kind of couldn't cover.
Right.
But
And we touched on them at the beginning of the
Yeah,
show.
we did.
But we kind of flew through today.
yeah,
It was a very consistent
it,
pace
it
show.
was very
As
had,
far
good,
as-
had a good flow to it.
As far as pace of play,
Yeah, right.
we were towards the top 6 in pace of play.
Yeah, right.
So
Nice.
I think people are probably tired of hearing me talk about pace of play and against the spread and everything like that. If there's anything else is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, I just hope if you happen to be in the playoffs this week for fantasy, good luck to you. I hope you win your matchups, and obviously the betting advice we give, don't maybe take it with a grain of salt. Don't if you win, great.
I don't have the 1-800 number pulled
You
up.
don't have the
anymore,
1-800 number,
but
but-
if you need to call the 1-800
Yes.
number for gambling, you can call
And
it.
again, if you bet on the Arizona-Denver game, you seriously have a problem. You should find that number and call it.
Yes, absolutely.
Which he's gonna look it up.
I am going to look it up. I'm going to give it out right now. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117. Again, that's Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117. It's open for crisis intervention and referral to treatment, even during the COVID-19 crisis. That's the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline.
So why are you calling, sir? I bet on the Arizona-Denver game.
Yes. So I hope you win your matchups in fantasy and you move on in the playoffs. If you're like me, you have a tough task at hand because Jonathan Taylor fucked over 2 of your fantasy teams that were in the playoffs because you had him on both, and he got knocked out after 1 play.
Yep.
It's going to take a lot for me to win my 2 playoff games. But you know what? Good luck to you, and fucking good luck to me, hopefully, and hopefully you can pull off your matchups. Good luck to your DFS lineups, your betting, your gambling. And enjoy your day of football.
That's right.
All right. Peace out.
See you.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.